So we're going to start with 2600. We're going to go through our Oasis product line today, which is 2600, 2700, 2800, and 2900. The hope is to get you some more information, get you familiar with the product and understand it a little better. Also, the hope is after this, if you're not selling an exterior product, it'll give you the opportunity to go out and feel a little more confident selling product, hopefully add to your bottom line while, helping your clients enjoy their outdoor living space. So we're going to dive in. So Oasis 2600 is a great starting point for a lot of customers who are looking for an exterior product and have a budget in mind, and they can't find a custom product that they're looking for currently on the market. It will provide sun, glare, heat, UV, and golf ball protection. And it has some great applications. Some of those applications: small patio openings, pergola, any place where you've got or need heat and glare protection or reduction, also golf ball protection, and maybe daytime privacy is an issue. Pretty much all of the exterior screen product will provide some sort of a daytime privacy, as it were. We do have translucent and some blackout fabric selections that will allow for evening or nighttime privacy also. So what are the selling points of 2600? It's an entry-level price point. Again, it's great for those folks who are looking for a product that is custom sizes that they may be unable to find a product to fit that bill. We will do custom sizes up to 10 feet wide. We have a Metal Select locking chain guide. It offers a premium exterior rated clutch, a stainless steel idler that locks onto the bracket. We do weld the outside leading edge of the fabric on all of our exterior 26, 27, and 2800 products to help reduce some of the wear and issues with the leading edge of the fabric for exterior. Stainless steel D-ring and bungee cord system to help with fabric movement and light breezes. We do have a large fabric selection. We're going to dive into each one of these to get you a little more familiar with them as we go along. So the stainless steel and D-ring bungee cord system, the D-rings are attached to the bottom of the shade. The bottom bar is aluminum. It is heat welded into the pocket at the bottom, similar to what an interior shade is, except for we make sure the outside leading edges or the ends are sealed for exterior product. That stainless steel bungee would attach to the bottom of the hem bar, and then you'd have another stainless steel D-ring that would attach or affix to whatever substrate you're needing to attach it to. We do use a 3/16 by 8-inch bungee cord that is unstretched at the bottom. And those D-rings, like I said, can be attached to most any item that you need to attach them to. Keep in mind that you typically don't want to go more than 45 degrees from vertical with those. The thought process behind the bungee cord hold down system is it just helps keep the shade steady in a light breeze. If it's going to be a breezy day or you're not going to use the patio, it's recommended that the shade be retracted and kept in the up position. We do use a R16 or R24 clutch. Those are exterior rated clutches. Those clutches, when by means of exterior rated, it means that they have UV inhibitors in them to help with the breakdown so they don't break down in the sun. They also have a stainless steel tying system in them so you don't have problems with rusting. All exterior 2600s come with a Metal Select chain guide. Those chain guides we'll go over in the next slide. And they do have a locking stainless steel idler. The reason that's important, so the idler end does have a stainless steel lug on it. What that does is when it goes over the idler and the lock or over the locking bracket, it keeps it in place in light breezes so that the idler can't separate away from the bracket itself. So the exposed roller is 20 on the in the 2600 comes with either a white or a black clutch. So either one of those options is available. And for the hold downs, we offer a stainless steel metal select chain guide. We are the only manufacturer that has those. We designed them and developed them for ourselves. The exterior product that we use comes with, it is stainless steel and then it's powder coated. Interior product also uses a metal select chain guide from us, but that product, those chain guides are not stainless steel to begin with. They're offered in black, brown, nickel, and white with corresponding chain colors, also in black, white, brown, and stainless steel metal. So measuring and detailing is going to be very similar to what you're used to on interior. You would measure for an inside mount at the top of the window. My suggestion is always measuring where you're going to mount the shade. I worked as an installer for many years and worked with a designer who never measured above their shoulders, and that caused a lot of problems. So always measure where you're going to actually mount the shade. The outside of bracket is how exterior product is primarily measured, and please round down that to the nearest 16th. It's a critical dimension. Please measure carefully. The factory will not take an extra deduction on inside mount shades. By that, I mean, if you have an opening that is 70 inches true from stopping point to stopping point or bracket to bracket, you will get a shade. You'll be able to put your brackets up. The shade will fit into those brackets and run comfortably with no issues or no problems. For outside mounts, keep in mind that the fabric is 1.25 inches less the bracket to bracket width. And also keep in mind, unlike interior product, exterior product has a tendency to move with light breezes. So if you're overlapping on an outside mount, your fabric may be coming in contact with whatever is behind or in front of that, which could be stucco, stonework, masonry, brick, whatever it is. And that actually over time can wear on the fabric and wear down fabric much quicker. So please be aware of that. Typically on exterior product, customers are much more forgiving about having light gaps. So just keep that in mind as you're measuring. Also, from inside or outside mount, measure from the top of the opening to the bottom of the opening. With exterior product, a lot of times there may not be a need to go all the way down to the floor. Interior products are a little different because we're always typically measuring down to the sill. Exterior product, sometimes it's okay to leave the bottom open. On 2600, that bungee, when it comes into play, will be about 9 to 10 inches stretched. So you may want to take that into consideration when you're measuring, that you don't need to necessarily go down all the way to the floor or all the way to the railing. You're going to come short of it because of the bungee's got to have some tension on it. Also exterior product, especially with 26, 27, and 2800 products, a lot of times those are left short for a couple of other reasons. Pets going in and out of a patio, or small children going in and out of a patio. Sometimes they're left short for that reason. Just like with interior product, we need to be careful of hem bar and chain obstructions. So keep in mind that you want to make sure you look for anything that's going to interfere with lowering of the shade, railings, moldings, protruding masonry. We're used to it with interior products because we watch out for handles and we watch out for window cranks. Same thing applies for exterior, just different obstacles you may run into. So you can also, like I said, stop product at maybe a railing if they're only needing some afternoon shade. So just keep that in mind when you're doing your measurements. Operator side. So if you're standing looking at the front of the shade, right-hand operator is on the right side, left hand's on the left side. It seems pretty straightforward, but that does come up. 2600 is the only product in the lineup that you are able to reverse roll. If you're doing reverse roll for a regular roll or reverse regular roll from us, it rolls off the back of the roller tube. Reverse roll rolls off the front. There will be a child safety guideline on the back of the hem bar on both styles. Be aware of that. It is not removable. You will actually probably ruin the shade if you're trying to remove that. Because it has a continual loop cord or a chain guide, it is not removable. So the bungee cord system, again, uses a D-ring to attach to the deck or wall or railing or whatever you're attaching to. We do include those 8-inch bungees. They only come in the color black. You can source a longer bungee if you would like. There's nothing wrong with that. They must be stretched to provide some stabilization in light breezes. And the 2600 system should be retract in moderate to high winds. They're not designed as a windscreen. They're designed as a sunshade. Exterior product, as we go forward, are going to get bigger and bigger. As we do, you can get into railroading shades. If you're not familiar with the term, railroading is when you turn the fabric on its end. So you can do wider widths. So if you're working with a 96-inch fabric and you have a 110-inch wide shade, we don't have a fabric stretcher. So what that means is we have to turn that bolt of fabric on its side, and now we can go whatever width theoretically we want to, but we're going to have the constraint of the width now being the width of the bolt being the height. So in this case, 96 inches. Keep in mind that we have to fold over the bottom to make the hem pocket, and we have to straight cut the panels, square cut the panels. So what that means is whatever width you're working with in fabric, you're going to be 4.5 inches less than that is where your seam would be placed from the bottom of the shade. If you have questions on this, anyone in sales or customer service is happy to walk you through. On all of the fabric cards that we put out, there is a fabric width. And there's also notes in the product guides to walk you through understand railroading materials. So here's some good pictures of applications for 2600. The one on the left is two 2600s, comes down just to the railing caps on there. They're on a golf course, and it provides them some shade and some golf ball protection when they need it. The one on the right is just a small patio setting where they need some afternoon sun. Notice that neither one of them come all the way down to the floor. The one on the right, those shades are brought down just enough to give them some afternoon shade and keep it out of that patio area, but allows children and pets to come and go freely underneath those shades. So now we're going to dive into Oasis 2700, which is the next step up for exterior patio shades from us. Perfect for small patio applications up to 11 feet wide. Again, sun, glare, heat, UV, and golf ball protection excels at that. But there's some key points that change a little bit and some selling points. Again, small patio applications. Now we're adding window applications. The reason being is 2700 is available motorized. So if you have an application where they need a window covered and want to operate from the inside of the house, now this application is one of them that will suffice. Heat and glare reduction, golf ball protection. Same thing with 2600 daytime privacy from screens. And then we do have some products for fabrics that allow you translucent and blackout if they're needing nighttime or evening privacy. So what are some of the selling points? We're going to go through each one of these individually, but now 4x4 inch box. We'll do custom sizes up to 11 feet wide. Clutch operated or motorized, depending on which application you need. Stainless steel idler, again, that locks into the bracket. Again, we weld the outside leading edge of the fabric. That is standard on all of our exterior 26, 27, and 2800 shades. UV resistant nylon stainless steel cable. That's a mouthful. And we'll go through the cable guide and the cable here in just a minute. We do have a teardrop shaped bottom aluminum weighted bottom bar or hem bar. It is hollow. We do put stainless steel weights in that to give it some help with some stability in breezy conditions. And again, large fabric selection for exterior. So the cable guide system. What we do that's a little different, I think, than some is we use a nylon coated stainless steel cable, and we use a nylon cable guide, a nylon coated cable guide. What we found is stainless steel cable, when it's rubbed over something for any length of time, is very abrasive and will cut through. I have seen stainless steel cables cut through stainless steel cable guides on exterior product. And what we found is we don't seem to have that wear problem or issue when you're using a coated cable. We do have a deck mount cable guide as well as a wall mount cable guide. Those both are available. There's a couple of things that are unique about them. So on the cable guide, I'm going to scroll in here. So one of the things that you need to be aware of, and installers need to be aware of, is that cable guide, the cable tensioner, the cable runs through that. The nylon coating needs to be stripped off, and when the cable is inserted, there is a copper sleeve that goes over that cable. And then there is a lock nut at the bottom that needs to be tightened down into that copper sleeve, which then is in turn crushed into the stainless steel cable. What that does is it keeps it locked in place. You can then tension the cable lock there's a set of nuts on the top and bottom and allow you to adjust the tension on that. Also, I've seen on mounting when you're doing a deck, there is a possibility of taking that deck mount cable bracket, actually drilling straight through the deck and then mounting this upside down underneath the deck or patio. Doesn't work in every application, but I've seen some patios and I've done some that have been very clean installs by doing it that way. Head box we use is a 4 by 4.5 inch tall head box. It is a 5-sided extruded aluminum box, which is going to be, extruded aluminum is very similar to what we use for fascias. It's a very heavy duty box. It is not roll form aluminum. There are some manufacturers out there that use roll form aluminum. We did up until about 7 or 8 years ago, I believe it was. But roll form aluminum is what the gutters on your house are made from. Very easily dented, very easily. Trust me, I've stepped on a few by accident and it ruins your day. Where extruded aluminum is very rigid. The other thing that's unique about all of our head boxes, and we'll cover this a couple of times, is there's a cantilevered front on the front of the box. So this whole front piece comes off for access, but because it's cantilevered, it makes it a little bit easier from an install standpoint, because if you put that box, that lid or the front of the extrusion on, it doesn't fall off as easy. It's much easier to deal with. They do come with an end plate, and all of the head boxes are available in the 2700 are available in white, bronze, tan, or black. So we do use a premium clutch. The reason this picture is up here is to show you the bracket that goes inside the 2700. It's a very thick, heavy-duty aluminum. In the clutch that goes in that, there's two arrows there. One is the cable hold down, because we get asked that, how does the cable go in? The cable hold down is attached to the bracket, and it's placed where it is, because what it does is it helps the clutch from actually rotating or moving, as well as the set screw on the right-hand side. The reason those are there and were developed and put there specifically was what we had found over time is when you do a clutch on an exterior product and you start getting some size to it, that clutch tends to want to rotate over time and can actually, due to wind and due to some light breezes, can theoretically bend or damage the tine that's inside the clutch that holds it in. So those two screws, a hold down and the screw, are set there to keep that movement to a minimum. We do use either a G200 or a spring assist. Those are, again, exterior rated and come in either white or black. Again, chain guides, black, white, brown, or nickel. And again, it's the same hold down that we use on the 2600, the metal select hold down, available in black, brown, nickel, and white with the chains to match. So you do have a motor option with Oasis 2700. We do use what we call an IQM ACR, which is a Somfy motor. It is a line voltage motor. It's a 6 Newton meter motor for those of you who have motorization background, and it is available with either the full regiment of Somfy controls. So you can do indoor wireless radio wall switch. You can do an outdoor radio transmitter, is available with MyLink. You can use actually an interior transmitter also. The difference between those two, the one shown here in the center is a outdoor transmitter. They look identical, except for the outdoor one is blue on the outside edges, where the interior one is gray. The difference between the two is the exterior outdoor transmitter is weather resistant. It is not waterproof, so don't drop it in the pool or the hot tub, but it is okay to leave out on the patio and you should be fine with that. Interior ones are not ready for that. So detailing and measuring is going to be very similar to what 2600 is. Also know that at Interroll, at our website, interroll.com, you can download product guides for all of the exterior product. We do have detailing guides also that are there. And like I said before, we're all of us are welcome to help you detail out a project or answer questions. Anybody in sales or customer service is happy to do that. So measuring and detailing, order width, it's going to be outside of headbox to outside of headbox. So now the factory will take an 1/8 of an inch deduction for inside mounts. The reason being is you're dealing with an extruded aluminum box. It comes in one piece. So when that box has to go into that opening, you've got to have a little bit of play to get that affixed into the opening. Keep in mind that the cable guide on that, the fabric is going to be 2 3/4 inch less than the box, end of box to end of box, outside of box, outside of box. Also understand that the cable, because it's a cable guided shade, the hem bar is going to sit about 2 inches below the box when the shade is fully retracted. So it will always be there. None of the exterior product that we manufacture is designed to have the hem bar retract up inside of the head box. Please try to make sure that you provide a 1/4 inch of clearance beyond any obstruction for the hem bar. So keep in mind, as that hem bar is traveling up and down, it is guided obviously by the cables, and you don't want anything protruding into it so it can run. Also, again, be careful with overlapping fabric onto rough surfaces, such as stucco and rock. It can damage the fabric over time because that fabric is going to want to billow either in or out. Light breezes is fine. If you're going to have more than that, severe thunderstorms, super gusty, windy day, nor'easters, whatever, it's recommended to put that shade up. For years, I told folks, enjoy it while you're out on the patio. If it's uncomfortable to sit on the patio and the shade's making a lot of noise, put it up. It's not designed as a windscreen. It's designed as a sunscreen application. Order height from the top of the box to the bottom of the cable guide. So whatever that opening is, keep in mind that if you're doing a window application, you probably want to come at least a couple inches below the window if you're expecting full coverage, because now you've got a cable guide at the bottom that's going to mount, and you're going to want that when that shade comes down, you're going to want it to clear the bottom of the window. So make sure to add a couple inches for that for outside mounts if you're doing window applications. Also with the cable guides, we changed at the end of last year, cables will come in two distinct lengths. I believe it's 128 inches or 138 inches for anything under 10 feet tall. And when you get to 168 inches tall in some of the bigger shades, we'll send a cable that's 180 inches. Those two cut sizes do allow you to adjust cable length if needed. You will need something that is able to cut that stainless steel cable. Please keep in mind, too, that if you need something specific or out of the ordinary, customer service is happy to help you and walk you through that. Just like 2600, you want to be careful of HIM bar obstructions. I'm not going to dive into it too deep, but also keep in mind that you've got a cable that's stretched from the head box down. So anything that's going to protrude into that and stop the shade from operating, obviously, you want to clear or take note of. Operator side, well, now I can't see the roll, but I can see the front of the box or the cover. Right-hand operator or motor right would be on the right-hand side. Left is on the left-hand side. Again, as we get larger, railroaded shades become more and more prevalent. Happy to walk you through, anybody in customer service or sales, happy to walk you through railroading fabrics. If you do have questions on that, we're happy to answer those as they come up. So there's a couple applications for 2700. Notice on the one on the left, they're purposely stopped about 2 feet off the ground. Like I said, I've got a couple of large dogs, so mine get set. My patio shades do get set off the ground because I've got also a toddler that runs in and out as well as the dogs, and it's just an ease. It keeps it simple. One of the selling things that I always used to tell folks too is everybody likes a little sun on their toes. So having the sun come in at the bottom is not necessarily a bad thing. Also know at the top, now you've got a head box covering it, so you don't have the roll visible. So now we're going to talk about our Oasis 2800. It is designed for large patio applications, motorized up to 19 feet. We started manufacturing this product in 1986. So all of the exterior product that we manufacture really comes from and stems from a long time of actually making and doing exterior product. It's not just interior product that we've just modified and thrown outdoors, specifically designed for the purpose. Exterior Oasis 2800, large patio and window applications, decks, patios, pergolas, anywhere that requires heat, golf ball protection, glare control, or even nosy neighbors. I have exterior product on my back patio. I like my neighbors. They're wonderful folks. Don't like to necessarily have dinner with them in the evenings. So I do have a patio shade that I bring down pretty regularly. It's down right now, just to give me some privacy from them. So some of the selling features, we do have a 5 by 5.5 inch extruded aluminum head box now. We jump up in size due to the extra size of width and height that we deal with for 2800. Again, we weld all the fabric edges to reduce fraying and tearing. We use the same heavy duty teardrop bottom bar, aluminum bottom bar. It is powder coated. It's the same one we use for 2700. We do a manual crank option up to 16 feet, or a motorized applications up to 19 feet. You do have now a choice of 2 motorized options. We offer the Sumpy motor for exterior, or we also offer a Lutron 300 EDU, are driven by Lutron series. So you can get that also for exterior. Heavy duty side track now, or cable. So you have a choice of a track or a cable system. Again, solar screens, privacy, and blackout fabrics are all available. Head box has the same look as the 2700, except for now it is 5 by 5.5 inches tall. Again, there's a couple of more options as we go up in product line. So now you also have the option of a extruded hem pocket. The difference between the two is the regular head box option has a 5-sided extruded aluminum, so it's got this extra bend in it, where the extruded pocket is a square box, does have a front cover, and then has a access flap that's 3.5 inches at the bottom. If there's an area where you can't rotate the cover, or if you've got maybe an architect or a designer or customer that doesn't like that 5-sided box look, you can now use a square box for them. Also, if you are recessing something up into a cavity, you could use this box and then mount from the bottom. Is recommended that you use a safety screw. That safety screw, what it does is it keeps that bottom flap from being able to be lifted off, be either a person or by the wind. Extruded head boxes come in white, bronze, tan, and black, where the exterior extruded pocket only comes in white or bronze. You do have the ability or option of doing custom powder coating. We do offer that. There is an extra charge for it. We are able to supply Cardinal Colors, which is a national brand of powder coat, and we can get you out a fabric or a color card if you needed one. You also have the ability to order a 2800 system as exposed bracket. So if you're mounting under an eave or going up into a site-built pocket, you can order it without a head box. There is a deduct for that. So obviously you're not paying for the head box. So there's a deducted cost for doing that. The brackets are 4 1/8 by 3.5, and they are heavy aluminum. So we do have pocket specs for most of our products that are available on the website, as well as they're available in the detailing guide. If you're doing a custom-built pocket, typically those are going to be 6.5 by 9 inches tall. I get asked all the time, why 9 inches tall? Gives you the ability to take your side track up inside the pocket and actually take your fabric as well as the hem bar up inside, so it basically completely disappears. I will tell you from years of install and project management, having pockets a little bigger than necessary is usually a pretty good thing. It is not necessarily a bad thing. It gives you a little more room to work with. We do have the removable access flap and hanger, which is basically the front of this box is available. What that does is it allows you to close in the bottom portion of that custom-built pocket. Again, if you're doing site-built pocket and you're using an access flap and hanger, that safety screw is always recommended. So now you have a choice of either a track or a cable guide system. I get asked all the time, which is stronger? Technically, the track system is, but cable guides work great, and most of the time I am site-specific for what the need is. So if you have stucco, some kind of undulating surface, brick, masonry, cable guide system works great and works well. It is the same cable that we use and the cable hold downs that we use on 2700. So it's a stainless steel nylon coated cable with that nylon cable guide. The deck mount and the cable mount are exactly the same as the 2700. Very sturdy, very heavy duty. The track guide is a 1 7/8 by 1 3/8 track guide. They do come in the same colors that the head boxes do. If you're doing a face mount, we offer a plug button, because you will have to drill through the front. You will have to mount that track, and that plug button covers that up. On the tracks, you have a vinyl rail guard inside the track. That keeps some of the noise down. It also helps retain your side track guide pin. Those guide pins are stainless steel. They will run up and down in that track. Again, the fabric is designed to billow either in or out. 2800s will take a moderate, light to moderate breeze, really not designed as a wind block or along that line. They will take a little lighter gusty breeze. I will tell you, for me, I've had them at my house, 2800s on cables, and on a breezy day, they'll make a lot of noise going up and down. They definitely will make some noise. Again, I tell folks all the time, if it's uncomfortable to be outside and they're making a lot of noise, maybe time to put them up and retract the shade and head inside. They are not designed, all of the exterior product, none of it is designed as a set it and forget it type of product. So you now have the choice of either a motorized or manual option. So on the manual option, the 2800 uses on manual a crank and gear system. That crank and gear, the crank comes out of the bottom of the pocket or the box, does have a crank eyelet. You have the choice of either a 4 foot, 5 foot, or 6 foot length. They only come in white for the crank, and it is removable. There's a couple of things that are unique about that. That crank and gear only has a finite number of turns that it can do. It equates to about 10 feet of travel for the shade. And we get asked this every year, multiple times, is there a way to set the bottom limit? Because the top limit is set because if you're doing a track or a cable, either one of those are going to come up and hit the bottom of the box. You obviously can't crank it any further. To set the bottom on that crank and gear, you would pretty much install the entire shade minus the front cover. You're going to run the shade down to where you want it to stop. You're going to disengage the fabric from the crank and gear, and then you're going to continue to have somebody crank that crank until it stops going in the down position. Then you're going to reinsert the fabric into the crank and gear, and now you cannot physically go any lower than what is set. Obviously, you can crank it back up. There are directions that are sent with every shade that show how to do this. A lot of folks bypass those because it works without having to set that limit. Although every year, customer service, myself, and sales will get some calls. I'm not going to say alcohol was involved, but very well could. And they crank them nice, sunny, hot day, and they crank them past, and they crank past all of the extra wrap. And now you've got fabric that potentially could come off the tube if they're not paying attention and just keep cranking it, and if that bottom isn't set. So just be aware of that. Motorization, you do now have two choices for motorization. We offer what we call an IQM AC, IQM ACR, and IQM 485 AC. So what do those mean? IQM, integral quiet motor, AC, 110 volt. That is a non-intelligent motor. Basically, it comes back to a hardwired switch. ACR, which is IQM ACR, integral quiet motor, AC 110 volt, R radio. So that's going to be radio controlled. IQM 485 AC, well, IQM again, integral quiet motor. 485 is a communication type. It gives you bidirectional feedback through a digital network. And then AC is line voltage. So if you're doing a Sumpy SDN system and you need to tie shades in, you definitely can do that. Offer the full regiment of handheld and wireless wall switches for the Sumpy product. And we also do a driven by Lutron product. We use a Lutron Roller 300 EDU, electronic drive unit. That is a 34 volt DC motor drive unit. And it will seamlessly connect with Lutron HomeWorks QS, Radio Raw, or Caseta. Both Radio Raw and Caseta require an RF dongle to be added to the EDU in order to make it work. And we do have the options and the ability to supply either the Picos, the tabletop pedestal, and basic motor or power supply for driven by Lutron product. Measuring is going to be very similar to 2700. The factory will take 1/8 of an inch deduction for inside mounts. Please provide a minimum, same with 2700, a minimum of 1/4 inch clearance beyond any obstruction. Overlapping the fabric onto rough surfaces can cause issues. Just be aware of that. Measuring the shade. Order size is going to be from the top of the head box to the bottom of the side track or cable. There is no cost difference between cables and side tracks. So the cost between the two, it's the same. So it's just a choice of which one you want to use. Please understand, though, your head box is 5.5 inches, and also know that with a a track system, the fabric is going to be 3 1/4 less than the shade width. The bracket to bracket, or sorry, the outside of box to outside of box. If you're using cables, the fabric will be 2 3/4 less the bracket to bracket or motor or outside of box to outside of box. Excuse me. So in-bar obstructions, same with 26 and 2700. Just be aware that anything that's going to protrude into the shade operating properly. Operating handling. So now we're working with, again, with the head box. So right-hand side or left-hand side is going to be as you look at the front cover. Also understand with motorized product for 2700, 2800, and 2900 that you have some options as far as pigtails off the motor goes. Standard motor, I believe, comes with a 10-foot pigtail. You do have the option of up to a 24-foot pigtail, and we have some options for molded plugs. If you're running wiring through the head box, chances are pretty good that you are not going to want the molded plug because the hole you drill, if I'm not mistaken, is 3/8 of an inch. We do have a grommet for that if you're going through the head box, and you always want to have a drip loop. But if you're ordering something with a molded plug, you'd have to drill a fairly large hole in the head box to try to get that through. So most people that do that end up cutting it off and then adding a plug later. When ordering, keep in mind that you will have three choices. Extruded aluminum head box, which is our standard and standard in our price list. Extruded aluminum pocket. That pocket is for motorized only. It's not available for the cranking gear style. Also know that is an upcharge for the extruded pocket or exposed roller. You're doing exposed roller, there's a deduct for that because you're not using the extruded aluminum head box. You'll have a choice of side tracks and also have a choice of which way you're mounting those. So understand and know that the face mount or side mount, and that track is 1 3/8 by 1 7/8. If you're doing cable, you've got a choice now of wall mount bracket or deck mount bracket. Again, large railroaded shades. We've covered this a couple of times, so I'm not going to go back over it again. But if you do have issues or need some assistance with it, please feel free to reach out. A couple applications for 2800. As you can see, the picture on the left, they've used two 2800s to span a huge patio area with looks like cable guides. The cables come down and attach right to the railing, so it gives them some afternoon sun protection. Great glare protection on the other two pictures just to help them cut the glare in the afternoons. So now we're moving to Oasis 2900. So Oasis 2900 kind of ups the ante a little bit. Designed for large patio doors, garage, window application, where insect mitigation or weather can be an issue. Large patio and window applications, decks, pergolas, any place where you may need insect protection, heat, glare, golf ball, noisy neighbors. I happen to have 2900s at my house, and we use them primarily for insect protection, although I do get some privacy with those. We'll do custom sizes up to 19 feet. It is a motorized only option, available with either Sumpy or driven by Lutron systems. We're now working with the Shy Zip zipper retention system. It does create a four-sided seal that will keep bugs out, and weather stripping at the back of the head box and at the hem bar to help eliminate those insect issues. So 2900 comes with a 5 by 5.5 inch extruded head box. It's the same head box that we use for 2800. Again, easy to integrate with most structures. Allows that front cover to be removed if maintenance is ever needed. Wall or ceiling mount does have an aluminum end cap and again, heavy duty aluminum mounting brackets. The extruded pocket is also available for 2900. Again, with the extruded pocket or extruded head box, also know and understand that the bottom rail on that shade, the bottom rail on that shade will hang should hang 3 3/4 inch down from the bottom of the box. What the reason being is that keeps the zip track securely into that, keeps the zipper securely into the track. And I'm going to show you the zipper here in just a second. The same head box that we use for 2800, again, removable access flap and a safety screw is always recommended so that bottom can't come off. Site built pocket, same detail, 6.5 by 9 is recommended. That should allow you clear opening to retract that hem bar up inside of a site belt pocket as long as it's got at least 9 inches of height. That mounting pocket and hanger are available for those just as it is with 2800. So the Shy Zip fabric guide system, the way that works is the outside leading edge of the fabric has half a zipper that's been heat welded to it. That zipper comes down in a proprietary track known as the Shy Zip zipper track. That track is actually inserted into the aluminum that you see there. There's a little bit of an inset in the aluminum right here, and that's where there's a section on the hem bar that retains it as it comes down. As it comes down, on the back of the pocket, either pocket, there is a felt pile, a small pile that brushes up against the fabric. That is really there and designed to keep insects from coming up and over the top of the shade, so it keeps the insects out. It is really not designed to clean the fabric as it goes up and down. Your side tracks are 1 3/4 by 1 7/8. You have the choice of either side mount. We do send them with a color match screw for side mounts, or you can face mount them. If you're face mounting them, keep in mind that you'll get a plug button to cover the hole that's drilled into the track itself. Those tracks are hollow. There is the possibility to use those as a wire chase if needed in some applications. There also is a cap at the top and the bottom of those tracks, just so you're aware. So recessing side tracks or U-tracks. U-track is a half inch wider than your order measurement. Please keep that in mind. I'm going to go through U-tracks in detail and what they're used for and why they came about. But always keep in mind that U-track is a half inch wider than what your order size is, or what we would call outside of box to outside of box. So U-tracks are used for detailing when you've got a contractor or somebody building typically into a column. What they do is they provide a stucco edge, masonry edge, and can be put in during construction. They also can be used for out of square openings. So if you get into a project with a 2900, any of us in sales or customer service are happy to kind of walk you through and get you familiar with how to use a U-track if that may come into play. So U-tracks, you can see the bottom left picture. You would typically order the U-tracks ahead of time during construction, would install those, and it allows you to leave them up, give the contractor or builder a place to build up to. And then when you come back in, they can be cleared out if there's anything in them, and then the track fits neatly inside of it. I will tell you from experience, trying to leave a track open and not have it get damaged is difficult. I will also tell you from experience, installing tracks early and then coming back to find out that they have been damaged or ruined by one of the trades, and having to explain to the builder that you have to remove those tracks to reinstall new ones is not a great conversation to have. So that is what the U-tracks intent was for, is save you that hassle and leave a void that's specially designed for that. When you go to take those final measurements, we would definitely like to talk to you and walk you through to make sure you get the right measurements, because like I said, outside of U-track to outside of U-track is a ½ inch less than what your actual measurements need to be, and customer service or sales can walk you through that. So please feel free to call. Motorization options are the same with 2900 as they are with 2800. So again, the full lineup of Somfy motors or Roller 300 EDU from Lutron. So either one of those options is available for 2900. So measuring in detail. 2900s should be detailed within a quarter-inch clearance beyond any obstructions. And please take a little bit of extra time when measuring for 2900 systems. They're a little different. The tolerances are very tight. We suggest measuring at the top, middle, and bottom of the opening. Use the smallest width. 2900s have a very tight tolerance, typically within about 1/4 of an inch. So there's not a lot of extra play in them. There are ways to square up openings and work with them so you end up with a nice solid project. But if you have any questions, again, feel free to reach out. Height, order sizes from the top of the head box to the bottom of where the bottom of the side track will go. Note that the hem bar will hang 3 3/4 inches below the head box. So if you need clear opening, you may have to mount higher than you normally would. Please watch out for railings and moldings and other things that could come into play. From a install standpoint, I will tell you the one that seems to come up the most is that the outside of the box is also the outside of the track. During an install, those should line up. If their tracks are wider than the head box, you're probably going to have some issues. If the tracks are narrower, outside of the track is narrower than the head box, you're probably going to have issues. The way that I install is head box up first, brackets up next. Those head boxes are also designed that bracket fits into a slot and will center it for you, either wall mount or ceiling. So they're fairly easy in that aspect. Shade up next. I usually program the shade, my upper limit, and try to get my lower limit close. Hopefully it's not a super windy day. Then I let my shade down 18 to 24 inches, and I slide my tracks onto that zipper and onto the fabric. Once those are set, I usually put my upper screw in and put it in loose, lining up my outside of my box with my outside of my rail so that those match up and are flush. And then I run my shade down. And the reason I do that is we're going to take into consideration that your head box and your shade are mounted level. The fabric is cut square and done level. So when it comes down, it should square up those rails for you. When it gets almost all the way down, you can put it in your bottom screw and keep it loose and then work your way back up. What that does is it centers everything for you, and then you can tighten up as you go. I have 4 exterior shades in my house. Once the boxes and the shades were all up and installed and and programmed, it took me about 25 to 30 minutes to put all the rails on and square everything up. Not a lot of time. It went pretty quick because of when you do it that way. So just keep that in mind. Anybody in customer service and sales also happy to help you, walk you through. Again, with the enclosures, you have the choice of the extruded hem pocket or the extruded head box. Again, head box is standard. Extruded pocket will add some cost. Or if you're doing a site built pocket, you can get it without a head box or any aluminum at the top. So that is actually a deduct. Again, watch for hem bar obstructions. So anything that's going to impede on the shade as it goes up or down. Operator side, we've covered this a couple times. Front of the box, right side is right, left side is left. You will, when you're ordering, you'll have a choice of either inside mount, surface mount, or recessed mount with U-track. Again, please go over that. And if you've got questions, ask customer service or sales. Again, tolerances are very tight. Please make sure that your rails that come down are going to be plumb, parallel, and in line. Like I said, the easiest way to do that was I just explained during install. Usually it's pretty simple to do it that way. Sometimes that's not an option, and it may take a little bit of adjustment to get it proper. Railroading large shades, same thing applies with all of the products for railroading. Again, if you have any issues, please feel free to reach out. With 2900, you may want to take note that the shades are going to come down square and level. Patio surfaces are not always square and level. There is a 1-inch flexible seal strip at the bottom of the shade. When it comes down, you will have, it can actually compress about 3/4 of an inch. If your floor is out of level by more than 3/4 of an inch, you may end up with a gap. There are different techniques to do that. The picture here is actually my patio. I have a fairly significant, about a little over 2-inch drop from the house out to the edge of the patio, and I have a gap. For me, I got lucky and I have a railing there, so I don't have to worry about quote unquote a trip hazard. And what I did is I actually used U-track, and I put U-track between the 2 rails at the bottom. I know it fits the bottom rail because it fits the track. And what I did is I used construction adhesive, attached it to the concrete, and my my opening at the bottom is now hopefully pretty much free from insects. So that was my way of taking care of that. There are other techniques and that can come up. A couple applications for 2900, just to throw it out there. Nana doors on the left-hand side. Kevin, if you're listening, I hope I got that right this time. The application here is all those doors stack back, and you can actually open those screens up with an insect screen, and now they have this huge huge indoor living space that's now feels like it's open to the outdoors. The top right picture shows 2900s that are used out on a patio. And the thing that's a little unique that I think we sometimes overlook is primarily in this picture, primarily used for sun control, also used for insect control. So any solar shade that is used also will provide you insect control. But if you notice at the top of it, they have patio heaters. I grew up in the Midwest. Currently, I'm in Denver. I like to get out as soon as I can in the spring and stay out as late as I can in the fall. And 2900s do a very good job of cutting down on light breezes in a breezy evening and make that area more comfortable. They'll keep out some some light weather too. So, as long as it's not blowing crazy, light rain is fine, light snow is fine, but you can use the patio heater on those applications and actually warm that up. Currently in Denver, it's in the low 70s in the days and 50s at night. Now I can go out on my patio and it's 50, 55 degrees out in shorts and a t-shirt with a patio heater with my shades down, and it's comfortable. So there are some other issues and ways of using that. Again, really not designed as a wind block, but they will provide, some light breeze protection.